Okay, folks, listen, I'm making this video right now because it is the holiday. We coming up on Christmas, right? Everybody, well, mostly people like to put a prime rib on the table, right? So listen, I'm going to debunk all of the myths and we finna get right to it. And I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make prime rib. Let's get it. All right, so look, pay attention to this part right here. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven. And if you look right there, you see I don't have a whole lot of ingredients, right? This is one of those super simple, prime ribs that you can make, and I'm really gonna make it foolproof, right? So the first thing we wanna do is we're gonna hit bake. We're gonna put this on 500 degrees. Come on. And then we start it. Now listen, if yours don't go to 500 degrees for some reason, you know what I mean? Don't worry, just go to your highest setting and start that. But you need that to be up to temp. Now, when it comes to the prime rib, I like to pull this out 2.5 hours before I'm ready to put it into the oven, right? So this had the time to become room temperature. That is key. I'm gonna push this off to the side right now so we can just go over a couple of things. I want you to put your thinking cap on and then look at this right here. We're gonna call this the center of the meat, right? Let me just make a little small indentation right there. You guys see that right there? Listen, we want this to be room temperature in here. That's why we pull it out 2.5 hours early and just, leave it sitting on your counter, leave it covered in some kind of saran wrap or something just over the top. Why? Because if it's cold all the way in the center right here, how long are we gonna have to cook this just to get the middle to do it, to be cooked? So we're gonna have the temperature, we're gonna set that in there, and then it's just gonna cook and bring itself down here without destroying the meat, right? Now, I'm gonna ask you guys down in the comment section below, how do you guys like to have your prime rib? You want it rare, medium rare, well, or well done, or medium? Okay, so when you get your prime rib, you bring it to the house. It's up to you. You can have your butcher do what he done right here for me. And what that was I had him to, French cut these right here. So you see the exposure of the bone? That's what I like to see, right? And then if you guys pay attention over here, let's address why I got this twine on here, right? All right, now, if you guys pay attention to this part right here, you see this? I'm just pulling this back, and you see there's some separation. This is separated against this bone, right? So when you bring it home, you guys can just take this and you can separate this from you run your slicer, meat slicer, right? And we run that down, all the way down against the bones, right? And then when you're done with it, you should have bone with a little bit of meat on it, and then you should have your roast, right? So now, that's why we have to come back with the twine, right? And we put that back on there. But this makes it easier for you to season in them, in between both, so it gets some seasoning there. Just giving you guys a heads up, right? Now, you see right here, I got my little fillet boning knife, and then I just like to clean up this. I want to say, hey, thank you to my local butcher. They did a great job. Okay, so now that I've explained to you, like the process, and don't forget, you guys can ask your butcher, if you go there and talk to them, especially if you got a relationship with them, they'll go ahead and do it for you, right? So now I'm looking at this, we at 351, but we rising, right? And that's Fahrenheit, by the way. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take some garlic infused olive oil, right? We just take this and we're gonna just sprinkle a little bit on here. Let me do it this way, right? This is just to help any of the rub, stick. Now this is a big, heavy piece of meat, folks. You know what I mean? So when you season it, you want to season it generously, I even season a little bit of the back. I got it, it's got the bone on there, you know what I mean? But you guys might have somebody you want to give that to, or better yet, you might want to eat it yourself. For me, you know what I mean? I just like to just see the whole thing seasoned, So this right now, what I'm adding on here is acting as a binder. Now everything you seeing right here is what I'm gonna be using just to season the outside. I use my B-rub. Listen, this is for the heavier meats. It don't get no heavier than this right here, right? So we got fresh black pepper, then we got that kosher salt. That's what we're getting ready to put on there. This is when I say fat side up, this is how we're gonna put it in this roasting pan. We're gonna keep it up like this. So now what I'm getting ready to do is I'm just getting ready to start adding some seasoning. Now, if you guys notice, I hold it up a little high so I can get some coverage. You know what I mean? You ever put seasoning on or your rub and it look like it's concentrated in one area? That's because we're not high enough. So now we finna come with that fresh black crack, right? So I'll just start adding this on the top. You see how it's starting to sweat already? When you let it sit on there and soak, it just starts to, sweat. It gets real tacky and it helps for everything to adhere to it. And now we just sprinkle a little salt on here on the top. Don't need a whole lot of salt, right? All right, now next thing I'm gonna do is, after I got it completely patted down, we got it seasoned the way we want it to be. Now I have this roasting pan right here, right? So I'm gonna pick this up. Let me turn this way so you guys can see it. Now I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna set it in just like this. Them bones will probably just run through there like that. You see that right there? That right there is the way you want it to look. You gotta take a look at that. Ooh, you getting to watch a cat in action. Let's just go over this again. We're at 500 degrees. Now this part gonna be key. This right here is an 8.5 pound, prime rib. This is how we're gonna make it foolproof. You're gonna like this part. At 500 degrees, we're gonna go ahead and put this in there, right? All you do is take the weight and you times that by 5. Now, 5 times 8.5, right? We're gonna end up with 44, right? So we're gonna have 44 minutes that we put this in here. So I'm gonna set the first timer. Remember, that's 5 minutes per pound. So you guys do your math once you get it, right? So I'm going in here for 44 minutes. Listen, we're not gonna cover it or nothing like that. We're just gonna stick this in there. After 44 minutes, all we do is we come and we turn off, our oven, and we do not open the door. Look, read that on the screen. Do not open the door, right? And then we're gonna let it go for about 2 hours. You just gotta resist the temptation to open it up and look at it. We're not gonna do that, right? So remember, 500 degrees, 44 minutes for me. If you guys got one that's just 8 pounds, you know what I mean? It'll be 40 minutes. All right, so here we go. Okay, folks, listen, my timer just went off for this, my 44 minutes, right? So now I'm getting ready to go ahead and hit stop. And here's the thing, you cannot open this. We're gonna let that heat do its thing, and we're gonna set another timer for 2 hours, right? And then I'm gonna explain to you guys, you got a lot of different options, you can use when making a roast like this. Some people just don't have the confidence, so they have some tools for it, right? So if you come here and take a look at this, you guys can see, I didn't do this because everybody don't have them. Look, I could have put a meat probe in the inside of that. It'd have gave me my reading there. They got all kind of options. I was just showing you this one here. Then they got these. This is more like a popular brand right here, a meter. You know what I mean? You can do up to 4 different proteins, put them in the smoker, put them in your oven and things of that nature. But the reason I didn't do it like that is because most people don't have it. I just want to give you guys the confidence to go ahead and tackle on one of these prime ribs without having all of these extras. Okay, so listen, now here we are. Listen, it's been a whole total of 2 hours and 44 minutes, right? So I just put my hand right here. I can feel it has cooled off, but now we want to check it. Now, earlier I showed you guys 2 different, options, to go wireless as far as your meat thermometer goes. These are great. I elected not to do it. I'm gonna do, say it again, just to tell you guys you can do it with one of these, meat probes also, right? So I'm gonna put this here, move that over, put that there. Let's take it out and let's look at it. Okay, so just for the sake of argument, right? Let's just say this doesn't temp. I'm looking for medium rare. You're gonna hear all kind of numbers. It's not no one solid number for everybody, right? So I'm gonna usually say 130 to 135 is medium rare. So let's just say I stick this probe in there and it's only at 120. We don't have no heat in there, so what we do is we just put it back in the oven. What we wanna do is raise our temperature to 350 degrees, and then we'll probably check it like every about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, what I'm getting ready to do is we wanna get to the center of it, right? On the outside, it's probably the easiest, you know what I mean? So it'll be a little bit more, have a little bit more doneness on these outer cuts. But then as we get to the middle, that's what we want to check, right? So I'm gonna go in over here. This right here, as you saw, would be just like perfect to me. 2 degrees, hey, you can't go wrong, right? So what you guys were seeing, 137 or 138, you know what I mean? And it holds that, so that lets me know that's it. Remember, this is gonna be the key. Now, it's been resting. This is the tricky part. When it was in the oven, it was resting and it was coming down. So it gave it some time for all the meat to distribute, throughout. So you know what the next thing to do is? We finna carve it. Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit just a little while longer. I know I said I was gonna cut it, but this is what I wanna do, folks. I wanna go ahead and take the rest of my ingredients, right? I had these in the refrigerator, so they nice and cold, so we don't have to usually I make it early and I put it in the refrigerator until it's needed, right? But right now we finna take all of this, right? And add it. That was mayo, folks. I know some of y'all say, I wanna see you, Aaron, AB say what it is, blah, blah, blah. I got it. I'm gonna try to, but I still want you guys to go to my website, because listen, we done did all the work for you. So whatever you're looking for, more than likely your boy AB got it. So just search, check it out, see what I put out last, and come up with some good dinner options. All right, y'all can look at this right now and tell, oh, that's sour cream. All right, so once you get your chives cut, we just go ahead and, add those in here also. Then we're just gonna give this a mix, get it nice, creamy. And then I'm finna put that prime rib, folks, on this cutting board. We finna watch it work. All right. Now that we have that mixed up, I'm gonna go ahead and give it just a generous pinch of some kosher salt. Look at that right there, folks. Oh yeah, this is it. Go ahead and hit it with my little taster spoon. Let me get a little bit of that green onion. Excuse me. Some of that chive. Whew, that's him. Now, all right, now we'll go ahead and take this. Whew, look at that. And right onto the cutting board. If that ain't a masterpiece, I don't know what is. Now, the first thing I'm getting ready to do is, we finna see these strings right here, this tie. We're gonna take these and cut these. All right, so you guys can see, exactly where all of the ties were. So we just pull that down like that. Well, folks, now it's time to do our thing. So what you see right now is like my garnish, right? I just set it up, took a couple of shots of it. This is what I get to get you guys to click on the video, hopefully. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the middle. Then I'll cut the end. This is for all my people that like their meat a little bit more on a well done, right? So I'll pivot this over here like this. I'll take this right here and I'm just gonna cut myself, a little slice like this. Look at that right here. That's for the people that want to have theirs a little bit more cooked. This is good. Man, it came out right. Now we're just gonna take this bone off. I'm gonna show you this part right here. Look at that right there. Whew. That right there make for a great gift for somebody. Look at the backside of it. Yes, sir. Okay, so you guys can see these, you know what I mean? You make it how you want to make it. This gets you in the ballpark. It would have been a little bit more on the rare side had I had not let it just sit up, because we got to take pictures and do all that kind of stuff. But this right here, you put this on anybody's plate, I promise you they're not going to say nothing about it, but they're probably going to hit you with a thank you. Now, listen, I'm using my meat slicer. I'm not doing this, there's no shameless plug or nothing like that. You guys need to pick up one of these. Listen, I'm still running the sale right now. The code on this is just Holiday AB. Pick yourself up one of these, hurry, I can ship these out and try to get these to you as fast as possible so you can get them. Some people gonna get them as a gift, but I'm telling you guys, get yourself one. You know why? Because we finna run up into the spring, and you see this big piece of meat right here? We finna do some brisket in the oven, do it outside, and you're gonna need yourself one of these slices. With that being said, I'm gonna set this over here like that. We finna take these off. I'm finna get some utensils, and it's time to taste it. All right, so I'm gonna scoop this back, pull this down like this, right? And I'm just gonna use my cutting board, right? So we'll just cut this. Look, it kind of like just almost tear. You know what I mean? Just, ooh, my goodness. But if you guys wanna see it, look at that right there. Now we finna hit it with this little horseradish cream. Look at that right there. Guess what, folks? You done heard it many times. Cheers, y'all. I do a lot of things on my channel, but I never dance. This right here is a treat for myself. I'm gonna hurry up. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna keep it, I don't know what I was about to say, like keep it gangster or whatever, but I'm gonna take one of these slices. I'm gonna heat me up some, toast me a little bread, hit it with the mayo. Other side, I lightly cover it with my horseradish cream right here, my creamy horseradish sauce, you know what I mean? And then put one of them slices on there, and I'm finna eat that and go to town. Now, you guys, I hope that I was able to show you guys a foolproof way to not ruin, you know, such an expensive piece of meat. You know what I mean? This is simple, super simple to make. And another thing I want to say, don't forget that I let this kind of like sit up so it had a little time to continue to cook. And remember, if you didn't reach the temperature that you was looking for, if you was under after the 2 hours, right? All you gotta do is heat your oven back up to 350, put it in there, and then you just keep testing it about every 15 minutes, you know, until you get your desired doneness that you like. Now, besides talking to me down in the comment section below, let me just say this. If you're new to my channel, let me just take this time to say, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there, there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. I'm gonna keep it real simple, folks. I mean this from my heart and from everybody, you know, the whole team of Smoking and Grilling with AB. Listen, Merry Christmas, y'all, and we out. Peace.